Hello and welcome to the beginning of a micro podcast series, which is, I guess I should start out by explaining what I mean by a micro podcast, and that's that currently I plan to talk about a topic of conversation by myself or maybe sometimes with guests, I'm not entirely sure about that yet, but for up to 10 to 15 minutes about a particular thing that I've finished seeing, or watching, or reading, or listening to, or playing. So basically the idea is that if I finish reading The Hobbit, for example, that might be one of the first episodes. If I finish reading The Hobbit, I'm going to have some opinions about it, I'm going to have some stuff to talk about regarding it. And normally what I would do is I would put that into some kind of blog post. But I'm thinking nowadays, the way people interact with media and the way people multitask with their lives, it would be a whole lot easier to have an audio version of a thing the big difference would be that it's more unscripted. Like I might write down some talking points, but I'm not going to write out paragraphs and then read it back out loud, because I've tried that sort of thing before and it doesn't really work. But instead of sitting down and reading like a 1,500 word blog post, which nobody really has time for anyway, you can just the idea is you can listen to it while you go and do a job, or while you're playing a game, or walking to work, or driving to work or something, or just while you're having a lunch or whatever. I don't really expect anyone to watch or listen to these things anyway, but it's mostly like most of what I do is a personal project, and I want to get some practice in for stuff regarding audio projects, such as making podcasts or whatever. The closest I've got so far is a video series I do every week called The Weekly Deathmatch. And you may be wondering, well, why would I make a podcast style thing like this when I've already got a Weekly Deathmatch where I talk about it? But the idea behind this is that it's going to be a single topic podcast, or micro podcast, or whatever I'm calling it. So instead of just talking about, oh, this week I did this and this and this, and this is my thought about this, and oh, hey, look at what's going on the screen at the minute. This is more, as you can hear right now, there's background music, there's maybe some pictures on the screen, maybe like fan art of the story or whatever, or footage of the game I played or something, and it's literally just me talking about that one thing for like 10 minutes. I might not even hit 10 minutes, it might be like a 5-minute thing. But future ideas do include The Hobbit, because I've finally decided to give in and buy an Audible subscription, so that's kind of the main premise behind this entire show, is that every month I should have a book that I've listened to that I can talk about, and then not just books, I also want to do stuff like when this season of Doctor Who finishes, I've got some opinions on that I can talk about. Maybe, I don't even know, like with games, it doesn't even have to be something I've finished playing recently, it could be something that I've just picked up again recently. So Animal Crossing, I've recently started playing Animal Crossing New Leaf again, so I've got some thoughts about that, which could be interesting to voice before New Horizons comes out. Although saying that, I don't want to get too loose with it, I don't want it to be a single topic podcast. Why just ramble about politics for 10 minutes, because who wants to hear about politics? Or I just ramble about some kind of abstract philosophical concept, because really, that's what I've got my blog posts for. This is just meant to be light, fun, I can make a few jokes or whatever. I do apologise in advance for any attempts of humour I may make, and also a chance to engage with people who I don't otherwise get much of a chance to talk to, so always feel free to leave your opinions in the comments, or just message me or reply to me on Twitter or something like that. This being a single topic based podcast, obviously it's not something that you have to come back and listen to every single week, but if one pikes your interest, like, oh hey, he did an episode on Doctor Who, I'm really into Doctor Who, I've been watching Doctor Who, I can message Christian on Twitter about that. That could be kind of a fun thing, it could be a kind of a conversation starter, but these aren't going to be like proper thought out reviews kind of thing. I'm not giving a score at the end, I'm not holding it in kind of like a critical light, I'm not comparing it to other movies or books or what have you. I'm just going to be talking about it, saying what I liked, what I didn't like. It's basically an opportunity for me to take stuff that I would normally tweet about and turn it into more of a creative outlet, if we're going to be thinking about it like that. Because I sure do tweet a lot, and as any writer will tell you, Twitter is the perfect platform for making you feel like you're writing words and you're talking about things and then before you know it, you've said all that you've got to say, and you've got nothing to say through your actual artwork anymore. Or maybe not artwork, but like I said, creativity, like a thing like this where I actually spend time putting it together and making it sound nice and look nice. And I mean, it can only sound so nice when it's narrated by someone like me. But self-deprecating remarks aside, that is gonna do it for this introductory thing. I don't really know when the first episode will actually be up, or what will it will. That's another challenge I have to overcome, my inability to speak. Normally I'll cut that out, but I'm just gonna leave that in there as a little treat for you all. But yeah, mostly I just wanted to get this out as kind of like a proof of concept on the one hand, but also as a kind of way to make myself not be distracted and venture off and think about something else, to actually tell myself that yes, I'm gonna do this. This is where some of my creative efforts are gonna lie. I just need to finish something. I'm about a third of the way through The Hobbit. It's really good so far. I've just got to the part where Gollum pops up, and holy fuck, we'll talk more about that at the actual time. Like I said, the end of Doctor Who is looming, the end of his series in but that's still a few weeks away. So I'm thinking about maybe talking about maybe an established series that I've already played, but I just want to get some thoughts out about. So again, let me know if this is something that interests you, and I will hopefully see you back here for whatever the first episode may be. Thank you. Oh, and also hopefully I will have settled on a series name by then, because I currently have no idea for original or interesting names. So far the best thing I've got is Thoughts on a micro podcast series. That's not generic at all, is it?